Hi, I'm Bryan Lally, Union Rep with PSU-AAUP, and I'm here to talk about being strike ready. Now, strike is a big word, it's kind of a scary word, so let's set it aside for the moment and talk about the bigger question, which is how do we get a good contract in 2024? Now, there are some people who think success at the bargaining table depends on who has the more clever negotiator. I've been on bargaining teams where management has hired an attorney to be their spokesperson, and so the union team gets worried and thinks, oh, we have to hire an attorney too, so we're even with them. But let me assure you, some of the best labor negotiators around have never set foot in a law school. Now, if you're still concerned about that, I do have a law degree, so we're covered in that way. But again, this is not about who's the more clever negotiator. Bargaining is not a game of chess. It's much more a matter of arm wrestling. It's a power struggle. The management gets their power from controlling the money and controlling the facilities. And the union, all of you get your power from collective action. The ultimate collective action being withholding your labor, which is a strike. But again, more on that later. Not all bargaining is about power. In fact, there are plenty of issues we resolve at the table without resorting to a power struggle. We get it done through negotiation, good old-fashioned compromise, and give and take, and good communication. But sooner or later, you're going to come to the really difficult issues, which are typically economic issues, spending money, like on raises, cost of living increases, increased staffing. That's where it gets really difficult for either party to move the other. And that's where our power comes into play. Because we need the support at the table from you. And what that looks like is that collective action. That could be things like rallies, signing petitions, social media campaigns, working with other unions on campus, working with student groups. All of this working together gives us our power so that when the bargaining team goes to the table, management doesn't just see 6 or 8 people. They see all 1,100 academic professionals and faculty members lined up behind those bargaining team members in support of them in a very real and visible way. But this doesn't just happen overnight. This requires infrastructure building because we've got to have a coordination of communication, a coordination of action, so we all know what's going on and why it's going on, and we know when we have an opportunity to participate in the actions. So to help build that infrastructure, over the next couple months, bargaining team members and elected union officials are going to be going around to different work units on campus and talking to you about how this is going to work, what kind of support we're going to need from you as we go through this process of building the infrastructure with communication and coordination. Because again, everybody needs to know what's happening and why it's happening and what they can do to be a part of it. And it needs to start before bargaining. If we wait until bargaining happens, it's too late. We've got to have this up and running so that when the time comes for an action, we're ready and we have the communication set in place and can organize these things. So again, we'll be having visits to work units around campus to talk about how you can be involved in that piece. Also be recruiting people to be unit reps. But right now, our big concern is making sure that we are in touch with as many work units on campus as possible in a two-way communication so we know what you need and you know what we're trying to get in support at the bargaining table. So let's say we build that infrastructure, we have our actions during the course of bargaining, and bargaining gets to the point where we have to go on strike. Well, that is something that is voted on by the members and is a very deliberate process. It's not something we would just spring on you or on management. As I talked about in one of my previous videos, there's a timeline involved with all that, and we'll talk a little more about those specifics in another video. But I want to make sure everybody is clear that our ability to get a good contract is very dependent on the participation of members in collective action, all of you in being a part of this. And again, we'll be going around and talking about what those participation opportunities will be, and we look forward to seeing you then. Take care.